Welcome to Vintage Visions. Today, we take a fascinating journey through time, comparing America's cities then and now. See how landscapes have transformed over the decades. Enjoy the visuals, and don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to support the channel. Let's begin. St. Augustine, founded by the Spanish in 1565, holds the title of the USA's oldest continuously inhabited European settlement, predating Jamestown by 42 years and the Pilgrims' arrival by 55 years. The city faced destruction by the British in 1702, but saw a revival in the 19th century when oil tycoon Henry Flagler transformed it into a chic winter tourist spot. It continued to grow, and in 1925, a developer significantly expanded Anastasia Island by dredging 13 million cubic yards of prime oyster beds off the coast. Central Park, arguably the world's most iconic urban park, was established in 1858 to offer a haven for New York City's rapidly growing population. Located in central Manhattan, it was constructed in what was then an area of farmland, marsh, and rocky hills, away from densely populated sections. A public skating rink was a central feature of the park, with the lake opening to skaters for the 1858 to 59 season. This photo from around 1890 shows New Yorkers skating with the Dakota Apartments, one of New York's first luxury apartment buildings, completed in 1884, in the background. This photo captures South Broadway in 1895, a time when Los Angeles was transitioning from a small farming community into an industrialized city. As part of California, it had been under the Mexican flag until 1847 and was known as El Pueblo de la Reina de Los Angeles, the town of the Queen of Angels. Broadway became one of the city's first commercial and retail districts, adorned with elegant 19th century buildings like the Bradbury Building, and later, numerous theaters. Notable theaters included the Mason Opera House, opened in 1903, the Pantages Theater, 1910, the Orpheum, 1911, now the Palace Theater and the oldest original Orpheum Theater in the U.S., and the expansive Million Dollar Theater, 1918. Las Vegas, originally a trading stop between Los Angeles and New Mexico, started developing as a dusty railroad and rancher town in 1905, becoming incorporated in 1911. This 1925 image captures the early desert city. The construction of the Boulder Dam, renamed Hoover Dam, in 1931 brought a surge of workers and a population boom. That same year, Nevada re-legalized gambling, leading to the rise of casinos and showgirl clubs on Fremont Street, the only paved road at the time. El Rancho Vegas, the first themed hotel casino resort, opened on Highway 91, later known as the Strip, in 1941. Baltimore's Washington Monument, with its cornerstone laid in 1815, was the first statue dedicated to the inaugural president. Designed by Robert Mills, who also designed the Washington Monument on the National Mall, it was located north of the city on its highest point, originally called Howard's Woods, after Colonel John Eager. Howard, a former governor of Maryland, the area began drawing wealthy families. Later known as Mount Vernon, it evolved into an affluent suburb in the mid-19th century with grand mansions and townhouses around the monument. Located on a bend in the Colorado River, the town of Waterloo was selected as the capital of the new Republic of Texas in 1839 and renamed after Stephen Austin, the father of Texas. According to the Austin History Center, the first mayor's city plan featured a hilltop site for a Capitol building looking down toward the river from the head of a broad avenue. Congress Avenue, shown here in 1901, has been and remains the city's main thoroughfare. When Texas was annexed by the United States in 1845, the Grand State Capitol building was constructed on the very spot the first mayor had envisioned. Seattle, situated on a narrow strip of land between Puget Sound and Lake Washington, has always had a strong connection to water. Initially home to Coast Salish tribes, the first European settlers arrived in 1792. Lumber and coal were the main industries in the early days, complemented by fishing, shipbuilding, and shipping, which were crucial to the town's growth. Incorporated in 1869, Seattle's population reached over 80,000 by 1900 and tripled in the next decade. At the turn of the 19th century, several piers were constructed to support the railroads and the Alaskan gold rush. After the site for the nation's new capital was selected in 1790, architect Pierre Charles L'Enfant was entrusted with designing a bold, modern city. His blueprint featured grand boulevards and a grid system, with the Capitol building at its heart on Capitol Hill. The original Capitol, laid by Washington in 1793, suffered damage during the War of 1812. The old dome was removed in 1856, but construction paused during the Civil War. This 1860 photo shows it from Pennsylvania Avenue, one of the earliest streets. Work resumed in 1862, and the new cast iron dome and extensions were finished in 1868. Since 1894, William Penn, Pennsylvania's 17th century founder, has watched over the city he designed from atop City Hall. Completed in 1901, City Hall is shown here at the end of North Broad Street in the early 1900s. The street was lined with grand mansions, Victorian brownstones, and industrialist headquarters of the era. Until 1987, City Hall's 548-foot, 167-meter tower was the tallest building in Philadelphia and remains the tallest masonry structure in the world without a steel frame. Founded in 1630 by Puritan colonists, Boston rapidly grew into a prosperous city. The Old State House, built in 1713, served as the seat of the colonial and later state government throughout the 1700s. It witnessed the infamous Boston Massacre in 1770 when Bostonians clashed with redcoats, marking the first bloodshed of the Revolution. On July 18, 1776, Bostonians gathered under the Old State House's balcony to hear the Declaration of Independence for the first time. The Old State House, shown here in 1900, remains a symbol of Boston's rich history. Incorporated as a town in 1833 and reaching city status in 1837 with a population of 4,000, Chicago's roots go back to 1779 when Jean-Baptiste Point du Sable, a trapper and merchant, established a trading post there. The Chicago Water Tower, built and pictured in 1869, was one of the few structures to survive the devastating 1871 fire. Following the rebuild and a booming economy, Chicago pioneered the modern skyscraper with the construction of the 10-story home insurance company building in 1885 on the corner of Adams and LaSalle Streets, though it was demolished in 1931. In 1845, Honolulu became the capital of the Hawaiian Kingdom under King Kamehameha III following his conquest of Oahu in 1804. He constructed the Grand Iolani Palace, which still stands today. In 1893, American colonists who had control over Hawaii's sugar-based economy overthrew the kingdom and established the Republic of Hawaii. The U.S. then annexed Hawaii as a territory in 1898. Pictured in the late 19th century, Honolulu's buildings were modest and its streets were dirt tracks. However, it had evolved from a small fishing bay to a bustling center of the sandalwood and sugar trade, attracting a growing number of merchants and missionaries. In the span of just a decade, Miami Beach underwent a staggering transformation from an uninhabited sandbar and mangroves in the 1900s to a glamorous beach resort and thriving city by the 19-teens. This dramatic change was due to the efforts of entrepreneurial farmers and real estate developers who established a small resort community. This community was connected to the young city of Miami across Biscayne Bay by a wooden bridge in 1913, which was later replaced by the Venetian Causeway. Initially incorporated in 1915 as Ocean Beach, its name was changed to Miami Beach a year later. By the time of the First World War and into the 1920s, the district's beachside hotels and casinos had become the epitome of glamour. Although the Golden Gate Bridge is now an iconic part of San Francisco's skyline, its construction only began in 1933. The view from Telegraph Hill across the Golden Gate Strait in 1868 shows a time when the area was known as Yerba Buena, a hilly and sparsely populated town on San Francisco Bay. The USA annexed the region from Mexico in 1846 and renamed it after the bay. The 1848 Great Gold Rush transformed San Francisco, drawing in fortune seekers and significant wealth to its port. That's it for today's journey through time. We hope you enjoyed these incredible transformations of America's cities. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Your support helps keep history alive. See you in the next video on Vintage Visions.